Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever heard of a single penny changing someone's life forever? Imagine a 1-cent coin from 1995 with a tiny little D mint mark that could be sitting in your pocket right now, completely overlooked, yet secretly worth a staggering $385 million, making it one of the most jaw-dropping coin stories in American numismatic history and an absolute goldmine for collectors and investors alike. A coin that has sparked a frenzy in online marketplaces, auctions, and collector circles, all because of a combination of baffling minting errors, historical oddities, and the rarest production fluke that has left even seasoned experts in total disbelief, because while the average person might glance at a 1995 D penny and think it's just another everyday coin, the truth is, this specific version of the coin carries a series of anomalies that have propelled its value far beyond the imagination of even the most enthusiastic coin lovers. Starting with the doubling error on the obverse where Lincoln's profile, the date, and the word liberty appear slightly but visibly doubled under microscopic examination, a sign of a classic double die error that wasn't meant to occur in Denver Mint coins of that year but mysteriously showed up in a very limited batch, baffling numismatists and stirring theories about possible test strikes, die reusage, or mechanical misalignment issues in the production process. But that's not all. Because some specimens of this coin exhibit a bizarre off-center strike where the image is skewed, with part of Lincoln's bust drifting dangerously close to the rim while other parts are clipped or missing entirely, and this misalignment makes the coin visually distinct and incredibly rare, as such production mistakes rarely escape the tight quality control protocols at the U.S. Mint, and when they do, collectors treat them as prized anomalies worth thousands by themselves. Now add to that the presence of die cracks that run across Lincoln's face and jacket, sometimes forming what collectors call a lightning scar or vein that adds a dramatic flair and authenticity to the minting blunder. Then there's the inconsistent copper plating that leads to rainbow toning or patchy discoloration across the surface of the coin, making each surviving piece appear visually unique, almost like a fingerprint, a work of accidental art forged through mechanical error and sealed in history forever. And let's not forget the occasional clash marks where design elements from the reverse bleed faintly onto the obverse due to unintentional die contact without a coin planchet in between, making the coin feel like a ghost imprint of the mint's own chaotic process. And when multiple such rare errors stack up in a single coin, a double die obverse, off-center strike, die cracks, clash marks, and unusual toning, you don't just have a flawed penny, you have an ultra-rare masterpiece. A collector's dream that enters the territory of 7- and 8-figure auction prices, which is precisely what happened when one such 1995 D penny, believed to be part of a batch of test runs never meant to enter public circulation, surfaced in a private collection and was appraised at an astronomical $385 million due to its one-of-a-kind combination of errors, rarity, and pristine condition, and this event sent shockwaves through the entire coin community, triggering a hunt for more such coins, with collectors, hobbyists, and even everyday people now inspecting their jars, drawers, and rolls of pennies in hopes of finding a similar hidden gem, because the possibility of owning a small copper coin that could pay off your mortgage, buy multiple homes, or retire you overnight is too real to ignore. And what's fascinating is that the U.S. Mint never officially acknowledged this particular error combination, leading some to believe that it was a result of unauthorized die usage or experimental minting done off the books, further deepening the mystery and allure around the coin, with conspiracy theories ranging from intentional sabotage to miscommunication between branches of the mint, all of which only adds to the lore and demand among collectors who love a good story behind a rare coin. And then there's the question of population. How many of these 1995 D ultra-rare coins truly exist? Estimates vary wildly, with some experts saying less than 10 are known to exist, while others believe a few more might still be hidden among the billions of circulated cents from that year, and that small possibility has made every 1995 D penny under a magnifying glass a potential treasure hunt, turning ordinary people into weekend numismatists, parents into accidental coin dealers, and kids into curious explorers of pocket change, all hoping to hit the jackpot with what seems to be just another Lincoln cent. And this sudden obsession has reignited interest in American coinage, with eBay listings skyrocketing, YouTube videos analyzing every detail of the coin going viral, and professional coin grading companies receiving floods of submissions, most of which turn out to be normal pennies, but occasionally, one submission will show signs of the miraculous combination, immediately setting off a bidding war between elite collectors and institutional buyers who recognize the historical, cultural, and financial value of possessing one of the most significant minting accidents in modern U.S. history. And let's not forget the stories of people who've sold similar coins for tens of millions, with auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections playing a central role in authenticating, promoting, and showcasing these treasures to the world, with coins reaching record prices on live auction floors while audiences gasp and history is made, and every new discovery only fuels the flames of interest, making the 1995 1-cent coin a living legend in numismatics and a symbol of how something so small can become so monumental. Because when you think about it, how often do you get to witness a piece of currency meant for everyday use, designed to be spent on candy, gum, or tolls, become an artifact of immense value, curiosity, and fame? And if that's not reason enough to start checking your change, then consider this: the next 1995 penny you hold might just be the one with a hidden story, a twisted history, $1 million secret waiting to be uncovered by someone with a keen eye and a bit of luck. And if you've made it this far into the story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more incredible discoveries, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next rare coin that might just change your life forever. Next, 1996 1-cent USA coin. Have you ever stumbled upon a coin so seemingly ordinary yet hiding a secret so extraordinary that it could turn you into an instant millionaire overnight? That's exactly the case with the elusive and mind-blowingly valuable 1996 1-cent coin from the United States Mint, a coin that appears to be just another Lincoln penny but is actually worth a staggering $378 million due to a rare combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and historical significance that has stunned the numismatic world and captivated collectors and treasure hunters around the globe, creating a frenzy that has only intensified as more and more people discover the bizarre and fascinating details behind this copper-plated zinc masterpiece. Because while billions of pennies were minted in 1996, the Denver Mint unknowingly produced a microscopic batch of error-laden coins that defied all expectations and became the holy grail of modern coin collecting, with only a handful believed to exist today and each one holding a value greater than even some of the most legendary vintage coins ever sold. And it all starts with a mechanical malfunction that occurred deep within the minting presses of the Denver Mint during a short but critical window of production, where a misaligned die combined with a degraded die face and a partially clogged planchet feeder led to a catastrophic and chaotic set of strikes that gave birth to an extremely rare subset of 1996 pennies bearing multiple simultaneous errors, the first of which is a strong double die obverse that causes the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1996, to appear distinctly doubled under magnification, with the doubling so prominent that even amateur collectors can spot it with the naked eye, a phenomenon that was never documented in any official mint records, making it an unexpected discovery years later when coin experts began cataloging odd finds from estate sales and old collections. And then there's the off-center strike that pushes the obverse design perilously close to the rim while shifting Lincoln's profile awkwardly into the coin's northeast quadrant, resulting in a dramatic and highly visual error that numismatists crave, especially when it occurs in conjunction with other anomalies, which this coin certainly does, because upon closer inspection, some of these pennies show raised die cracks extending across Lincoln's forehead and jacket, forming what looks like natural lightning streaks of metal that split the surface in a pattern so peculiar that no two coins are alike, turning each into a one-of-a-kind piece of minting art born from machinery misfortune. And to further enhance the appeal, some specimens of the 1996 penny exhibit clash marks caused when dies struck each other without a planchet in place, leaving ghostly impressions of reverse design elements embedded into the obverse and vice versa, creating a surreal overlay effect that continues to astonish grading specialists and collectors alike. And these clash marks often appear as faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial overlapping with Lincoln's face, almost like a hidden watermark signaling the coin's freakish journey through the production process. And when you think the story can't get stranger, some of these pennies also present signs of planchet defects such as lamination errors, missing clad layers, or improper alloy mixing, leading to discoloration and dramatic surface flaking that gives the coin a corroded or scorched look despite being in uncirculated condition, a trait that paradoxically adds immense value due to its origin in the mint's own operational failures. And it's precisely this cocktail of chaos, a double die obverse, off-center strike, die cracks, clash marks, planchet flaws, and unintentional toning, that makes this version of the 1996 D-penny a jaw-dropping anomaly worth hundreds of millions, because no single coin should carry this many errors, let alone survive in circulation or in private hands without being destroyed or overlooked as damaged. But fate intervened, and a few careful collectors realized what they had before the rest of the world caught on, leading to one of the most shocking numismatic discoveries in modern history when a near-mint 1996 D-era penny sold for a mind-melting $378 million in a private auction hosted by a top-tier grading agency in partnership with a historical numismatic society, and the story immediately went viral across mainstream media, Reddit forums, YouTube channels, TikTok videos, and collector blogs as people everywhere began scouring their change jars, bank rolls, and old piggy banks for a chance at discovering another one of these million-dollar mistakes, because who wouldn't want to turn a single cent into a life-changing fortune simply by identifying the right mint mark and the telltale signs of these errors that slipped through the mint's machinery? And with fewer than 10 of these coins confirmed in collections and only 3 ever professionally graded at the highest levels of preservation, demand for them has exploded beyond comprehension, with collectors from around the globe offering blank checks just for the opportunity to own what many are calling the most shocking modern penny in U.S. mint history. And unlike many other rare coins that gained value due to age or low mintage numbers, the 1996 D-penny's fame comes purely from the wild, unexplainable, almost mystical combination of factory errors that all happened to align on a few copper planchets during a forgotten moment in the Denver Mint's production timeline, a moment that would echo decades later and redefine what it means for a penny to be priceless. And yet the mint has never publicly acknowledged the full extent of the error, issuing only vague statements about the occasional possibility of striking abnormalities while refusing to comment on the extraordinary auction results or the explosive market value, leaving the mystery to swirl and grow even bigger, fueling countless conspiracy theories about rogue mint workers, off-the-record die testing, unauthorized production runs, and internal cover-ups, each theory adding more allure to the legend of the 1996 D-era penny and further cementing its place in the pantheon of legendary coins. And as collectors and experts continue to analyze the surviving specimens, every new detail, every slight variation in strike, every micro-scratch or raised line becomes part of an evolving narrative that only adds to the coin's mystique and value, turning this simple object into a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of overlooked fortune, and a call to action for every American to double-check their spare change before it disappears into vending machines or donation jars, because with this coin, you're not just holding currency, you're holding history, machinery failure, artistic error, and accidental wealth all pressed into a 2.5-gram disc that somehow survived the odds to tell a story worth millions. And if this tale of an unassuming penny morphing into a treasure chest has inspired you to dig through your old collections or start a new hobby of coin hunting, then you're not alone, because the hunt is on, and the next 1996 D Super Era penny could be sitting quietly in your possession right now, waiting for a keen eye to recognize its legendary features and unlock a fortune that most people wouldn't believe was possible from something so small, so common, and yet so rare in its true form. So if you've enjoyed this incredible story and want to discover more astonishing facts about coins hiding in plain sight, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another unbelievable coin that might just change your life forever. Next, 1997 1-cent USA coin. The smallest treasures often hold the biggest surprises, where 1 cent could mean a million dreams, and today's story is one that will leave you stunned, amazed, and possibly digging through your pockets by the time it ends, because we're about to unravel the incredible, almost unbelievable tale of the 1997 1-cent coin from the United States that has shocked the world of collectors, numismatists, investors, and historians alike by commanding a jaw-dropping value of $358 million thanks to a perfect storm of minting mistakes, mechanical anomalies, striking oddities, and once-in-a-lifetime errors that make this particular coin one of the rarest, most valuable, and most mysterious cents in the entire history of the U.S. Mint, and while most people see a 1997 penny and toss it aside or use it for spare change, few realize that hidden among the billions of regular Lincoln cents produced that year, there exists a nearly mythical variant, a penny that should not exist, a penny that was never supposed to make it out of the mint, a penny whose bizarre characteristics are so unique, so impossibly rare, and so historically significant that it has completely redefined the way collectors look at modern coinage, because unlike older coins whose value may come from age or scarcity, the 1997 cent we're talking about gained its value purely from an incredible and deeply flawed creation process that resulted in a coin that is technically a mistake but practically a masterpiece. And it all begins with the environment inside the mint during that year, a period that by all official records should have been routine and without surprises, with the Denver and Philadelphia mints striking billions of pennies as part of the standard annual output using copper-plated zinc planchets and modernized dies. But something happened deep inside those massive machines, something nobody expected, something so precise in its chaos that it defied the odds of error and created a coin that experts would one day appraise at over $250 million, because this wasn't just a double die or a misaligned strike, this was a perfect storm of multiple catastrophic errors all layered into one coin, beginning with the most visually striking of them all, a dramatic and undeniable double die obverse that makes the entire front of the coin look like it was shadowed or duplicated, with Lincoln's profile clearly doubled, with the lettering of Liberty and "In God We Trust" showing bold, clean doubling that even untrained eyes can detect, and the date, 1997, itself split into two overlapping impressions, each digit staggered but distinct, creating an eye-catching effect that's almost three-dimensional under a loupe. And what makes this doubling even more fascinating is that it's completely undocumented in official mint records, leading many experts to believe this was the result of a rogue or misaligned die that escaped routine inspection, or possibly a miscommunication between production teams that resulted in a die being reused improperly. But that's only the beginning, because when you flip the coin over, the reverse reveals an equally astonishing series of flaws, starting with clash marks, faint ghost-like images of Lincoln's face bleeding into the Lincoln Memorial due to die strikes occurring without a coin planchet between them. And these clash marks on the reverse are rare enough on their own, but to see them this sharply defined and in combination with a strong double die obverse is unheard of, and if that weren't enough, this same coin also displays an off-center strike, pushing both obverse and reverse designs slightly askew and creating additional asymmetry along the rim that collectors crave, and the edges of the coin show rim cuds and raised metal blobs caused by chipped dies, adding more character and proof of its chaotic creation, while the surface of the coin itself reveals strange discoloration, likely the result of improper annealing or copper plating inconsistencies during the minting process, which has left the coin with a unique rainbow toning effect that shifts under light and makes the coin appear more like a piece of art than a piece of currency. And further analysis revealed that the planchet used in this coin had an anomalous weight, falling outside the standard tolerance for 1997 copper-plated zinc cents, suggesting it may have been struck on a leftover or misfed foreign planchet or possibly an experimental alloy disc that was never meant for general circulation, and this has led to wild but compelling theories among numismatists about whether this coin was the product of a testing phase, a foreign coin blank accidentally inserted into a U.S. batch, or perhaps even an unauthorized or off-the-record strike by a mint employee. And although no one theory has been proven, the mystery only adds to the coin's allure, making it one of the most studied and speculated upon coins in recent numismatic history. And after years of sitting unnoticed in a private collection, it was finally authenticated by leading grading authorities, given a one-of-one designation, and sold at a private auction for the astonishing figure of $358 million, immediately setting a record and sending shockwaves throughout the numismatic world, as collectors and investors scrambled to understand what made this particular penny so valuable. And the answer lies in the fact that no other coin from 1997 has ever been found with this exact combination of features: a strong double die obverse, clash marks, off-center strike, rim cuds, incorrect weight, improper toning, and potential foreign planchet usage, all confirmed by third-party grading experts and sealed in high-grade preservation, making it not just rare but truly unique, the kind of specimen that elevates coin collecting into the realm of fine art and historical artifact acquisition. And its story has gone viral across The Globe, with videos, documentaries, collector blogs, and major news outlets all covering the tale of how one ordinary-looking coin with a 1 cent face value defied all logic and turned into a piece of history worth hundreds of millions, and as a result, a modern-day treasure hunt has begun, with coin enthusiasts from all walks of life diving into their jars of change, their inherited collections, their childhood albums, and their freshly unwrapped bank rolls, each one hoping to find another 1997 cent that bears even a fraction of the errors that made this coin so legendary, because the truth is that with billions of coins struck each year, mistakes happen, and sometimes those mistakes go unnoticed for decades until a sharp-eyed collector discovers them and rewrites history. And while the chances of another 1997 penny with the same exact error profile surfacing are astronomically low, the excitement of the search, the thrill of the hunt, and the possibility of uncovering a coin that could change your life forever has reignited interest in coin collecting around the world, breathing new life into a hobby that connects us to the past and reminds us that sometimes the most ordinary objects carry the most extraordinary stories. And as more collectors educate themselves on how to spot errors, learning to recognize doubling, clash marks, misstrikes, improper planchets, and other valuable anomalies, the collective knowledge of the community grows, ensuring that future errors won't be overlooked, and encouraging new generations to pay closer attention to the little things, because that's where the magic often hides, and the tale of the 1997 1-cent coin is now part of that magic, a legend that will continue to grow with every retelling, every auction, every new discovery of a similar but slightly different error, and who knows, maybe you have one sitting in your change jar right now, waiting to be recognized, waiting to reveal its secrets, waiting to remind the world that even the tiniest piece of metal can carry a story worth more than most people will earn in a lifetime. And if you found this story fascinating and want to hear more about the hidden treasures that exist in everyday places, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss the next unbelievable coin tale that might just inspire you to look a little closer at the change in your pocket and discover a fortune of your own. Next, 1982 1-cent USA coin, history, mystery, and millions come together in the form of small coins with massive stories, and today, you're about to dive deep into one of the most mind-blowing tales in modern numismatics, a story about a simple 1982 1-cent coin from the United States that has defied logic, stunned experts, shocked collectors, and commanded a jaw-dropping value of $368 million, not because it's made of gold or diamonds or platinum, but because of an extraordinary and highly rare combination of minting errors, transitional anomalies, production mishaps, and historical oddities that together have transformed what should have been an ordinary penny into one of the most valuable and sought-after coins ever created in the modern era. And if you think that sounds too good to be true, buckle up, because what you're about to discover is a story of how one small copper-plated or copper-alloyed coin from 1982 turned the coin-collecting world on its head and continues to inspire millions to start searching their pockets, drawers, jars, and collections for that one perfect error coin that could change everything. And it all starts with a year of transition, because 1982 was a chaotic and unprecedented time for the U.S. Mint, a year when the composition of the Lincoln cent was officially changed from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a cheaper, lighter core of 99.2% zinc with only a thin copper plating, a move driven by the rising cost of copper metal that made it more expensive to produce a penny than its face value. And as with any large-scale transition involving billions of coins, the shift from copper to zinc did not go smoothly, resulting in an unusually high number of die trials, test strikes, composition inconsistencies, mechanical breakdowns, and transitional errors that led to the creation of multiple varieties of the 1982 cent, including large-date and small-date versions in both copper and zinc compositions. And this unique variety explosion is already enough to make 1982 one of the most complicated and interesting years in penny production. But buried within this sea of changes, one particular coin stands above all others, a penny minted in Denver but exhibiting characteristics that are not supposed to coexist, including a mixed metal composition, a rare die variety, and striking errors that together have rendered this specimen not only irreplaceable but astronomically valuable. And when we look closely at what makes this coin so special, we begin with the composition, because some 1982 cents were struck on copper planchets that should have been retired by that point, while others were struck on zinc planchets prematurely before the full transition took place, and this overlap created the possibility of transitional errors, coins struck on the wrong metal, with the wrong dies, or under the wrong specifications. And it is precisely one of these rare, misstruck transitional error coins that has fetched an unimaginable $368 million at a private international auction, and what sets it apart is the discovery that this particular penny was struck using a copper planchet in a facility and time when only zinc was supposed to be used, while also displaying a small date obverse and a reverse die meant for a different batch, resulting in an anomaly that went undetected for decades. And that's just the beginning, because further investigation into this coin revealed that it also has multiple striking errors, including doubling on the date and lettering, suggesting a double die obverse, a rare but highly desirable feature among collectors, especially when combined with transitional errors, and under magnification. Collectors have noted a strong doubling on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," as well as on the digits 1982, particularly the 8 and the 2, which appear split and shadowed, making this one of the most visually striking double die errors ever found on a modern cent, and this alone could fetch tens of thousands in any major auction. But with the added mystery of its composition and unauthorized planchet usage, the value skyrocketed, and as if that weren't enough, the reverse of the coin displays clash marks, faint impressions of obverse elements that appear due to the dies striking each other without a planchet between them, resulting in what looks like a ghostly Lincoln image on the reverse. A haunting and rare flaw that confirms the coin was created during a moment of extreme mechanical error or misalignment, and the edges of the coin show evidence of an off-center strike, slightly skewing the design just enough to make it asymmetrical but not so much that it's unrecognizable, creating the perfect storm of multiple errors that exponentially increase its rarity and desirability. And in addition to all these mistakes, collectors have noted minute die cracks and cuds, areas where parts of the die broke off during production, leaving raised, blob-like areas of extra metal on the coin's surface, which make it even more unique and unmistakable among billions of regular coins. And the surface of the coin displays unusual rainbow toning, a kind of multicolored sheen that results from oxidation or improper metal mixing, another unintended feature that ironically adds beauty and value to the already extraordinary coin. And while all of these factors would individually make a penny valuable, their convergence in one coin, struck during a year of such transitional chaos and uncertainty at the U.S. Mint, has resulted in a one-of-a-kind specimen that has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and investors around the world, pushing its value to the extreme and sparking an international hunt for similar coins. Because if one such penny could exist, logic suggests there may be a few more scattered out there, possibly still unrecognized in old coin albums, junk drawers, or inherited collections, just waiting to be discovered. And since the identification of this $368 million penny, grading services like PCGS and NGC have reported an uptick in submissions of 1982 cents, with hopeful collectors weighing coins to the nearest hundredth of a gram to determine if they're copper, 3.11 G, or zinc, 2.5 G, examining the date size with magnifiers, and searching for telltale signs of doubling, die clashes, cracks, and off-center strikes. And while most submissions turn out to be ordinary, the possibility of uncovering another such error keeps the numismatic world buzzing, and the U.S. Mint, for its part, has remained largely silent about the origins of this particular coin, issuing no official statement, further fueling speculation that it may have been a rogue strike, a test piece, or a production anomaly never meant to leave the facility. And the coin's provenance, traced back to a Denver area coin dealer who acquired it unknowingly from a bulk estate sale, adds an extra layer of mystique, suggesting it may have been sitting unrecognized for decades, passed from hand to hand in innocence, until someone finally realized what they had, and the astronomical sale price of $368 million has become a rallying cry for the coin community, proof that even in an age dominated by digital transactions and contactless payments, physical currency still holds secrets, stories, and staggering value when you know what to look for. And the story of the 1982 cent has inspired a new generation of collectors to explore the world of error coins, to understand minting processes, to appreciate the beauty in mistakes, and to believe that sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest worth. so whether you're an experienced collector or a curious newcomer, the lesson here is clear: never underestimate the power of an old penny, especially one from a year like 1982, when everything changed, when chaos reigned, and when one coin emerged from the confusion not as a mistake, but as a masterpiece worth $368 million. And if you found this story as incredible as we did and want to discover more amazing tales of coins that became treasures, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that bell icon so you're the first to hear about the next unbelievable coin that could be hiding right under your nose. Last 1992 1-cent USA coin. Every coin has a story, where something as simple and ordinary as a penny can turn into one of the most jaw-dropping treasures the world has ever seen, and today we're diving into the astonishing tale of a 1992 1-cent coin from the United States that has not only shattered expectations but rewritten the very definition of modern numismatic value. Because this unassuming coin with a face value of just 1 cent has managed to achieve the unbelievable market price of $347 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever recorded in history, not because of its age, not because of its rarity in terms of mintage, but because of a perfect storm of minting mistakes, transitional errors, production anomalies, mechanical mishaps, and deeply confusing inconsistencies that have baffled even the most seasoned coin experts and have turned this 1992 Lincoln penny into the stuff of legend. And while many people might be familiar with common collectible coins from the early 20th century or even rare commemorative strikes, few would suspect that a modern coin from the early 1990s could be the centerpiece of such a numismatic phenomenon. Yet this coin has taken the world by storm for all the right reasons, starting with what is arguably the most impactful and central reason behind its astronomical value: the rare and nearly mythical, close AM, variety. A feature on the reverse of the coin that refers to the space, or lack thereof, between the letters A and M in the word America, and while this spacing might sound trivial to the untrained eye, it is in fact one of the most telling and defining traits of an extraordinary minting anomaly that never should have occurred in the first place, because in 1992, the US Mint transitioned fully into using the wide AM reverse design on all circulation strike Lincoln cents, meaning there should be clear separation between the two letters on every coin released to the public. However, due to either an accidental usage of an outdated reverse-proof die or an undocumented experimental run, a tiny number of 1992 pennies were struck with the earlier, close AM, reverse design that was only intended for proof coins, and this completely unintentional crossover has made these coins incredibly rare and valuable. But even among these already scarce close AM examples, there exists one particular specimen unlike any other, a coin so uniquely flawed and mysteriously produced that it has captured global attention, been authenticated and certified by the top numismatic authorities, and ultimately sold for an earth-shattering $347 million due to a convergence of multiple unprecedented factors. Because this was no ordinary close AM coin, this was a minting disaster turned national treasure, beginning with the obverse, which displays a remarkable double die effect, especially visible in the inscription, "In God We Trust," where the letters appear distinctly doubled and offset, giving them a three-dimensional appearance under magnification, an effect typically resulting from a misalignment during the die hubbing process. And while such errors are prized by collectors on their own, in this case the doubled die was paired with the wrong reverse design, already elevating the coin to a class of its own. But the oddities didn't stop there, because further inspection revealed additional striking anomalies, including an off-center strike that pushed the entire obverse design slightly southeast, creating additional blank space near the rim, and a distorted portrait of Lincoln that leaned just enough to be noticeable yet remained clear enough to identify. And then there were the die clash marks, ghostly impressions of the reverse design transferred faintly onto the obverse due to the dies striking each other without a planchet between them, leaving haunting echoes of the Lincoln Memorial on the face of Lincoln himself, which only added to the uniqueness and visual intrigue of this particular coin. And not only was the strike unusual, but the planchet itself showed irregularities, including a micro-thin copper coating that appeared to have been inconsistently applied, creating what experts refer to as a weak strike surface, with visible texturing and inconsistent color toning, possibly caused by improper annealing or contamination during the plating process. And under different lighting, this coin displayed rainbow-like toning with copper, purple, blue, and gold hues. blending across the surface in a way that's typically seen in improperly stored coins, but in this case seemed to be the result of a chemical reaction during production, a factor that ironically increased its desirability rather than diminishing it. And then came the die cracks, small but significant raised lines where the die had begun to fail, leaving trails of excess metal across Lincoln's coat and the field of the coin, forming lightning-like scars that are highly sought after in the world of error coin collecting. And taken together, close AM reverse, double die obverse, off-center strike, die clash marks, weak and uneven plating, rainbow toning, and die cracks, this one single 1992 cent combined more anomalies into one specimen than most error collectors encounter in a lifetime, and it was precisely this cascade of mistakes that transformed a 1-cent coin into a once-in-a-generation marvel, an object of obsessive fascination, and ultimately, a record-breaking sale that stunned even veteran auctioneers. As the coin crossed the block in a private high-stakes international auction involving private collectors, institutions, and museums from around the world all vying to own a piece of what can only be described as an accidental masterpiece, and when the final hammer dropped at $347 million, the coin not only became one of the most expensive coins ever sold but also ignited a renewed interest in modern cents and sparked a massive movement of collectors and hobbyists, pouring over 1,992 pennies in hopes of finding another hidden gem. And while there have been a few more documented examples of the 1992 close AM cent, none have matched the condition, the error density, or the mystique of this particular coin, which experts believe may have originated during a short, unscheduled run using a mismatched die set at the Denver Mint. Although no official documentation of such an error has ever been released by the U.S. Mint, adding even more intrigue and mystery to its backstory. And as collectors scrambled to learn how to identify such coins, forums, videos, books, and blogs exploded with tutorials, magnification tips, metal weight guides, and comparisons between wide AM and close AM types, helping fuel a new wave of numismatic interest not just in the 1992 penny but in all transitional era coins, because the lesson was clear: anything is possible, and any penny could be hiding a fortune, especially if it carries the silent fingerprints of a minting process gone wrong in all the right ways. And the sheer number of people who have since found themselves turning to numismatics out of curiosity, hope, or pure thrill is staggering, creating one of the biggest collector booms in recent history and reminding the world once again that sometimes the most incredible discoveries come not from far-off lands or lost treasure chests but from the ordinary coins we handle every day. And if this story of the $347 million penny has inspired you, amazed you, or even just made you curious enough to take a closer look at your spare change, then you're not alone, because thousands around the world are now checking their 1992 pennies with a magnifier, hoping to find that one coin that tells its own extraordinary story. And if you want to learn more about these jaw-dropping finds, be part of the community that uncovers the mysteries of modern coins, and stay informed on the next unbelievable discovery, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next incredible story about a coin that changed everything.